Welcome to the program, the Director General of the National Automotive Design and Development Council, Jelani Aliyu. It's good to have you on the program today.
Thank you.
Now, I want you to speak to the sector generally. How is the automotive industry faring? Let's begin from there.
It is doing very good. Let's take a look at where we were. We all remember the 70s and 80s, when we had companies like Peugeot, Volkswagen, and Namco, Steyr producing vehicles in Nigeria. Things were really looking up. Then around about 1986, the price of crude oil that the country was so dependent on dropped from about $26 to below $10 a barrel. Overnight, the country went into a recession. Nigerians could no longer buy those brand new Peugeots and Volkswagens. So those companies were forced to stop operations, and a lot of them left. The federal government said that wouldn't be allowed to happen, and the NAIDP was introduced to bring back automotive production. So from the numbers that we had in the early 70s and 80s, we basically, because of the recession, went down to zero. The NAIDP brought it back up, and as we speak, we have investment of over $1 billion US. That's over 500 billion naira invested in the Nigerian automotive industry. We have companies in Lagos, in Nnewi, Anambra State, Ogun, Kano, Kaduna, Akwa Ibom, and others are coming up, actively assembling and producing vehicles in Nigeria. These companies have a combined production capacity of over 400,000 vehicles per year. Yes, they are not producing 400,000 because of general economic challenges, but we're working one by one, looking at these issues and bringing solutions to them. So the Nigerian automotive industry, we believe, has delivered. It has invested this huge amount of money. It has set up these large number of assembly plants across the country, and it is able to produce a large number of vehicles. What we need to do as a nation, all entities, is to work together and unlock that market demand so that these companies can produce at the capacities that they have installed.
All right, thank you for giving us that background, especially to the discussion. Now, when I was doing a little bit of fact-checking and research now, what I saw was there are 31 licensed producers of cars, trucks, buses currently operating in Nigeria. Can you tell us categorically tell us the number of assemblers and producers we have in the country?
Yes, well, we do have quite a number of assemblers in the country that I mentioned earlier, actively producing vehicles. Automotive production is a joint international effort where you have components coming from many very different companies and countries coming together, and the end OEM puts those vehicles together. For example, when you talk of the proverbial American vehicle, the Chevrolet, Chevrolet has many parts coming from outside the United States. They come together as spec'd by General Motors, and they're put together to become Chevrolets. That is what we're actively working towards. It's not really about how many assemblers we have or how many assemblers are operating in Nigeria, but what is that capability? How does the Nigerian automotive sector really plug into the global automotive value chain so that we're not only producing vehicles for Nigeria, we're producing vehicles for Africa, especially now with the opportunities of the AFCFTA. And we're also producing components that would go into assembling vehicles in US, in Europe. So our objective now is to really work with both local and international stakeholders to really be able to produce components that would feed Nigeria, both new vehicles, aftermarket, feed Africa through AFCFTA, and very possibly also feed Europe and other parts of the world through the provision of components.
Okay, I like the fact that you're speaking about how we can further broaden the market and also add capacity to those that produce in Nigeria, as the case may be. Are there plans in place, or what plans have your council put in place in terms of building local capacity of manufacturers, car manufacturers, assemblers in Nigeria?
Yes, well, you build capacity, and then you also make sure that what you are about to produce or manufacture meets minimum international global standards. So in terms of building the capacity, we're working on building 3 automotive industrial parks, Kaduna, Ede, and Innewi. So these will be centralized locations with all the necessary infrastructure needed for companies to come in, plug in, and play. So when they do produce those components, how do we ensure that they meet minimum global standards?
Yes.
And that is why we have built 3 automotive testing facilities in Lagos, Enugu, and Zaria. So when these are up and running, hopefully towards the end of this year, because as we speak, we have the civil works complete. We're now in the process of installing the equipment that is coming in from overseas.
Oh, good.
As soon as these are up and running, any component or vehicle to be sold in Nigeria or to be exported out of Nigeria to other markets will have to be tested and certified by NADDC before it is allowed to proceed.
Okay, I also want you to speak to, for me, the electric car is actually the big elephant in the room when we're talking about the automotive sector, because I remember having a conversation with a group of people, and we saw the electric video, the video of the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, taking a drive of the electric car. And a lot of people raised concerns that we are a country that we are still battling issues in the power sector. Talking about blackouts day in, day out. We have unions going on strike on different occasions. Now, I want you to explain, because we have diverse viewers watching you now, explain to us how this would work. Having electric car working in Nigeria, and also on the other hand, having power challenges in the country.
Electric vehicles, e-mobility in general, I believe is excellent for Nigeria. It's excellent for Africa, for many reasons. Number one, these vehicles are really very dynamic. They're really actually, yes, they are advanced technology, but they're actually simpler technology. An electric motor, an electric vehicle has far less parts than a fossil fuel powered vehicle. So you spend less money, less resources, less time trying to maintain them. They need very, very little maintenance. Electric vehicles can easily be powered by renewable energy, which we have tons of, sunlight. You can easily channel solar energy to electrical energy and charge these electric vehicles. Then philosophically, if we talk about power challenges, right, and Nigerians love cars. Nigerians at all levels love cars, personal cars. And then there's also this need to offer commercial transportation. So when you put this together, I believe it will probably drive us to really find solution to power. If we know that we have to have electricity to move, to drive the cars that we love and use every day, I believe we'll be in a position to come together and find those solutions, which are beginning to happen in terms of mini grids, electric mini grids. Let me tell you a very interesting story. We have both local and international partners working to create off-grid solutions to electricity, putting up mini grids across the nation, even in remote areas. Now, they are beginning to be faced by a problem, that they are beginning to produce too much energy with those mini grids. So what do they do with that energy in a remote area? Electric vehicles. So actually, we're beginning to have a good problem, a good challenge. People hear about the grid, but we also need to know there's a lot of work going on mini grids, which would allow us to power electric vehicles. And politically, which is actually even also good for us, in 2015, Nigeria signed the Paris Accord, was one of the signatories of the Paris Accord on the mitigation of greenhouse gases, that saying that we have to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide being released by factories and transportation solutions. Electric vehicles will allow us to reach those targets much, much faster. So when you put all these things together, electric vehicles are good for Nigeria, and we do have the energy to power them. We just have to think alternatively, look at renewable energy, and I believe we can really do it.
Now, the deadline for the EV concept is 2025. Now, is that still feasible given current realities? We are in the year 2022, and we expect that by 2025, 30% of passenger cars are supposed to be like electric powered. Is that still feasible?
What is happening is the growth is exponential.
Okay.
We started not too long ago with nothing. And we all know of the Hyundai Kona that is being assembled in Nigeria. And right after that, we have Jet Motors, another indigenous company, also providing the Jet Systems Mover as a 100% delivery van. And we have Max E, is a motorcycle manufacturer out of Lagos, beginning to offer electric motorcycles. We have Phoenix Automobiles that was just registered by NADDC not too long ago. They had earlier done a project where they converted a minibus from petrol to electric. They now have been licensed, and we're going to be working very closely with them to be able to provide electric vehicles in the country. And we have had many discussions with a number of different stakeholders, private sector, that are interested in either producing more electric vehicles or providing a commercial electric e-mobility commercial solutions. So the momentum is growing, and as we speak, we're about to really wrap up the draft of the Nigerian Electric Vehicle Development Plan. Okay. This would be a set of regulations and incentives to promote the production and usage of electric vehicles. We believe this would go a long way in spurring and really expediting that transition from a fossil fuel to e-mobility.
Talking about the electric vehicle development plan, are we going to see that come into force before the end of the year 2022?
Yes, that is the objective.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.